crops that should have been harvested in a few months, rice being a major part of it, are being washed away. Lives are being lost. Household items and houses are being washed away also in different parts of Nigeria. And unfortunately, this has already been predicted. Earlier in the year, the Hydrological Services Agency had warned communities in Kebbi, Niger, Kwara, Kogi, Anambra, Delta, and Bayelsa states. And increasingly, high river levels would cause more flooding. At least 3 major dams have started releasing water as high flow from the upper catchment of Niger Basin continues to move downstream to Nigeria. And this is a situation which the country has to deal with. Well, this is our story in this episode of the program. You're welcome. I'm Ini John Mekwa. Niger State in north-central Nigeria is one of the affected states. About 100 communities have been submerged and property worth millions of naira lost. Farmlands in Mokwa, Kacha, Edati and other local government areas have been affected. Apart from the heavy rainwater, tributaries of rivers Kaduna and Niger caused the flood, and the water does not seem to be receding.
I strongly believe most of those communities affected ones have no food. We have to try and find a way to send some relief materials to them. That would be the first step. The final step and probably the lasting solution would be to relocate them at some point. But now we have to take care of their immediate needs with regards to food and drugs and what have you. We have experienced this before. We have tried to convince them to move out of waterways, but somehow it has been extremely difficult. They see some of those places as their ancestral homes, but we have to continue to communicate to them the dangers they put themselves into. So, like I said, the lasting solution would be to relocate them.
In Kogi State, the Emergency Management Agency has placed the number of displaced persons from the flood at over 45,000. Residents of Lokoja, Ibaji and Ofu local government areas have been affected. The residents say this is similar to the experience in the area in 2012, but some efforts could be taken to reduce the effect.
2012, we never had it bad like this. What government should do for us is what they did in Old Market, that Kabawa area, the embankment there, is the one that push water here. So if they can help us around this area, you understand me, to do the same thing, feel it will help this area. You understand me? I think they know where houses are around this place. If they push it back a little bit, it will not. It's the pushing of the Old Market that is that bridge. Is it the bridge that they are doing or what? That one is one that is causing this one.
Farmlands in Jigawa State can hardly be accessed. There is little hope that corn and other crops in the hinterlands would survive the flood. The situation is not benefiting to fishermen in the area as well. Residents say this happened as an outcome of the overflow of rivers around the community. The picture is similar to that of Kwara State. This is after a heavy downpour which lasted for about 24 hours and led to the Ofu River bursting in banks and flooding communities.
We have over 100 communities that were being affected. And I can tell you we have rice farms, maize farms and guinea corn farm. They were submerged to water for the past more than 35 days ago. And if you want to quantify them in terms of millions of naira, we lost a lot of things to this particular water. Apart from that, sir, we discovered that the present status of the living condition of the people, of the victims, is very, very pathetic. They seek refugees in their relations' homes, in many communities that were not submerged. We discovered that so many people were homeless, nowhere to take refuge, no means of livelihood. They became, in fact, a beggars within the society.
All 6 shops at Amolasho Street in Isale Igbin in Abeokuta South local government area of Ogun State look deserted and destroyed. but these were functional stores up until the 13th of July. They are the most affected on the street because the shops share a wall with the canal. This is the worst experience in recent times, although it's not the first.
Actually, this rain will be the third time it's going to rain, but the first and the second one wasn't as much as this. It wasn't as much as we were able to get our stores back because we opened the shop. We can see the freezer, the dryer then, so we brought everything out that year and we cleaned everything. But this one, we couldn't even get a pin.
Some of the owners of the shops come out here to while away time out of boredom. At the last count, the flood led to the death of 4 persons with 3,800 persons affected, according to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. A loss which has led to questions as to the cause of the flood, and top on the list has been waste management.
You have acts of God resulting to things like this. Yes, there's certain human acts that can be avoided when it comes to certain things like this. What do I mean? You see people dropping their garbage in drains. You see them dropping their garbage in canals. So naturally, that obstructs the water flow. When you have the sort of rain that we had, it was persistent for just about 2-3 hours. So ideally, it was just flash floods. It's just unfortunate that the impact was that enormous and severe. Teams were formed, and whether or not you were in the direct line of fire, most commissioners headed teams. I headed a team that worked in a market called Itoku, and you got there, found bags of refuse, meaning people